All right, we're on the last one here, guys. Thanks for bearing with me. I hope this has been helpful so far. I put a little reference here. You guys might laugh at this. The answer to everything is 42. Okay, if you don't get that reference, we can't be friends. But to understand the answer, you first must be asking the right question, right? So, and for those of you who took that "we can't be friends" comment too seriously, that's a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So, nerd. So this part of the workshop, guys, this is just nothing but questions, and these questions, guys, kind of came out of basically a thing that 24-Hour Fitness was trying to do for a while, that I think Bally Fitness started, and I think Jeff Cavalier has talked about this a little bit as well, and it's kind of where we're kind of moving a little bit in mindset, but the thing is like with 24 and with Bally and whatnot, when they did this, and they called it the VFP, Visual Fitness Planner, it was mostly a manipulative tool. So they're using psychology to manipulate people into buying personal training. And what I found with this one a lot, because we were trying to, what it did was it helped us assess health risk. And basically we would be talking to somebody that was obese, and depressed and upset about who they were and had low self-esteem. And we basically got to this page where we basically outlined really how unhealthy they were, how long their life expectancy was, and basically was saying, well, you're a fat ass and you're unhealthy. And frankly, guys, I don't think that's helpful. I had a lot of people that would cry on me, and eventually, and I think I actually got written up for this, I stopped doing it. I refused to do it. I would just go back to the old way of doing things, and the company was really not happy with me for doing that. But I ended up starting to sell training, and that was the big thing about this, was they wanted us to be able to sell training better. So again, guys, this goes back to the first video and second video here, guys, where really I think that if you want to get somebody to work out, you need to move towards the positives, right? And you need to be thinking about the positives. And there are going to be some questions here, guys, that are going to go into shame a little bit. And I think that they're still important, because this whole part of the workshop is about understanding you, right? And so I'm going to read through these questions, guys, and I want you guys to take this really, really seriously. And I didn't, I guess maybe I get into this more details right here. But first of all, what is your primary goal, guys? And when we ask what is your primary goal, I'm not asking, okay, what is our, I want to lose weight, or I want to be able to run 5 miles without stopping. Actually, that second one is a good goal. I want to lose weight is not. Okay, and the difference between those ones is going to go on to this next question. So let's go ahead and move on. How will you know when you've achieved your goal? Right? So I want to be able to run 5 miles without stopping. Why is that a good goal? Because when I run 5 miles without stopping, I have reached my goal. Right? So I want to lose weight. Why is that a bad goal? Well, I want to lose 20 pounds of muscle, or I want to lose 20 pounds of fat, or I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle, okay? I want to, right now I bench 45 pounds, that's not what I bench, but with dumbbells, so 45 on each hand, and I want to bench 100 pounds, okay, with one dumbbell on each hand, okay? That's a quantifiable goal. I don't think it's a great goal because it's such a big jump, but that being said, you've now quantified that goal in a way that tells you when you've reached that end. So how will you know when you've achieved that goal? And that is probably one of the most important questions of this whole thing in regards to goal setting. Why is this goal important to you? Okay, and guys, for each one of these answers, I want you to stop and put a lot of thought into them, guys. And you can put your answers down in the comments below. Actually, I think that would actually be a very good exercise for us as a community, because you put in your goals, you answer these questions down below, and what's going to happen with that is people are going to see your answers, right? And it's going to help them think about their answers, and you can read other people's answers and start to get a good idea of why these goals are important, or what people's answers were, and see if some of what other people are saying resonates with you, because that really, really matters. How will your life be different once you've achieved that goal? Okay, so one of the things that comes up a lot, especially with men, is that they want to be able to play with their kids, and they're so out of shape that they can't keep up with their kids at all, right? And so, how will your life be different? Well, I can teach my kid how to wrestle, right? I can teach them how to play basketball, and I can keep running with them. So that's something that could be that, or I don't have to worry about my heart anymore, because I'm doing things that make it healthier, and I can see without medication that my blood pressure drops, that my heart rate doesn't jump as much when I start doing cardio or that type of thing. So there are things that could be positives that are going to come out of this. And again, guys, we're trying to focus on the positives here as much as possible. So why is this goal important to you? Well, there's probably going to be, you might say, well, because I'm tired of being fat. You might word it in a way of, well, I want to start feeling good about myself again, right? How will your life be different? Well, I'm going to have confidence. I'm going to be able to go up to the guy in the bar and be able to hit on him where I couldn't before, because I didn't have that confidence, because I thought that I was unattractive, right? So these are starting to word things in a way that hopefully is more positive as much as possible. And sometimes this can be harder, right? But try to find those positives as for why it is. And how will you feel in a year if you've achieved this goal? And that is, I think that's a good question, and it is a positive. It's something that's going to give you that, like, oh, hi, this is okay, and now you're visualizing what that change is going to look like, what it's going to feel like, how your life is going to change. And this one is one of those negative questions, but I think it's still important for you to think about, is what will happen in a year? How will you feel in a year? How will you feel about yourself if you don't reach that goal? Okay, and I want you to spend some time thinking about that, guys. If you're still on square one a year from now, and you've been telling yourself, oh, I'm going to go out there and do it, and a year later you still haven't, how's that going to make you feel? So that's pretty important, that's pretty strong. How committed are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to your goal, right? With 1 being that you really actually don't give a shit about it, and 10 is that you will move heaven and earth to do it, right? And why did you settle on that number, right? So one of the things that came out of the VFP was this thing where why that number? And usually, guys, okay, a lot of times it's like, well, I'm committed at a 4. Well, why isn't that a 5? Why isn't it a 6 or a 7, right? A lot of times if we say, well, I'm a 10 on this, I'm really gung-ho about this, I'm going to meet this goal no matter what. And even then, I think it's still relevant to stop and think about it and consider it, to be like, okay, why am I so committed to this? Okay, because a lot of times that commitment, that 10 is a little bit of a fake, right? Maybe it's because you're sitting in front of me and you don't want to tell me that it's lower than a 10. Maybe it's that you're overly driven right now and you're going to burn yourself out really fast. That's a red flag. So sometimes when you guys see people saying it's a 10 or a 9 or a 10, that could be as much of a red flag as a 1 or a 2. So really kind of assess, okay, why am I at that level? And how am I going to prevent myself from being burned out by starting up and going too hard in the beginning? Because if you guys start with a sprint, you're not going to make it through the marathon, and training really is a marathon. And why are you thinking about that today? Now, you might be thinking about this today because you stumbled across this video and I'm asking you this question, but a lot of times in the gym, when somebody would come in and that would be the first time that they come in. Why did they come in? Well, maybe they saw their doctor and they warned them, you are pre-hypertensive, there's a very real threat to your life. You might not live to see 50. Okay, that's a wake-up call, right? And it could be just as simple as you looked in the mirror and you sighed and you're like, God, I'm so sick of being me. And that's perfectly valid, guys. For all these questions, guys, I can't tell you what the right answer is. I can tell you that with the goals, what's not a good goal, what is, based on what I've already told you, right? So it's whether or not it can be quantifiable, whether or not it's realistic, whether it's attainable, right? If it's not, are there goals that you can set for yourself along the path to get there? So really saying, okay, I'm going to lose 150 pounds because I'm morbidly obese, that is a big, big goal, okay? So I'm going to say, I'm going to lose, let's say, 3 pounds a week. And so, but I'm going to do it in months, so 4.3, so let's say about 12 pounds a month. Okay, that's what my goal is, because I'm in that 300-pound range and I want to lose weight. Okay, every month. And this is compartmentalization, right? So the idea of compartmentalization, which is a word I can't say clearly, is if you are like saying, okay, I'm going to lock myself into a box, and I can knock at any point, but I've got this world record for how long I can stay locked in this box before wanting to get out. If I say, okay, I can make it 5 more minutes, and 5 minutes pass, and you say, okay, I made it, that's great, I can make 5 more minutes. Well, then you can potentially make it for the full hour that you want, that your goal was for being in that box. So instead of thinking, okay, it's an hour, how long has it been? Okay, it's been 5 minutes. Fuck, there's 55 left. But if you say, okay, my goal is just another 5 minutes. Just another 5 minutes. That hour's going to go by a lot faster, and you're going to be in a better mental state to do it. So if you were saying, okay, my goal is 12 pounds to lose in a month, and you have a month that you lose 9 pounds in, you lost 9 pounds. Be proud of that, guys. Maybe you didn't make it to that little stepping stone goal, but you made progress. And so if you're saying, okay, well, I need to lose, 100, 120 pounds or whatever it is that you're trying to lose, when you are thinking about 120 pounds, this is a sandwich that's this big, right? How do I eat this fucking thing? Well, eat that part. Eat that part. Probably not a great example for we're talking about losing that much weight, but okay. So quantify your obstacles, guys. What obstacles might be standing in your way, okay? And then once we know the answer to that and we take our time to really quantify that, then we can be like, okay, how do I handle this one? How do I handle this one? And make a plan for each one of those. What kinds of exercise do you not like, right? I don't think that was actually one of the questions that was on the VSP. It's one of my questions. What kind of exercise do you not like? Because I don't think that it's particularly valid for you to start working out if you hate it. You're not going to stick with a program that you hate. So when you are trying to create a program, when you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do for whatever program that you're trying to create, do things that you're going to like. And I've touched on this on the other 2 videos as well. It's like, if you don't want to go to a gym, if you don't want to run on a treadmill, which I'm proud of you for not wanting to do that, start playing rugby. Start playing soccer. Start playing basketball. Start lap swimming. Start racing on your bike with a friend or whatever, guys. Things like that, guys, will help you start to meet that goal without doing the thing that you don't like. Because if you enjoy your workout, you're much more likely to stick with it. What experiences? It says gym experiences because this was gym oriented, and I know this whole thing has sounded very gym oriented, but it's applicable to anything really. What experiences have made you uncomfortable in the past, guys? Are they something like, okay, there was this guy that used to sexually harass you while you worked out, would say that your clothes were inappropriate, or you really shouldn't be wearing spandex in the gym because you're too fat for it, or something along those lines. And the thing about this is, and I know I'm beating up on fat people a lot here, and it's not really my intention, guys, but what about that gym experience made you uncomfortable? And for me, I'm a little self-conscious when I'm at a crowded gym wearing spandex or something like that. And so, I will wear my top and I'll wear my tights and I'll wear shorts with it. And it's not what I would prefer to do it in. I would prefer not to have the shorts at all, but, I'm too shy to do it without. And so if I'm not shy to you guys, um, but in a heteronormative place, I might not be as comfortable. So, yeah, so if there's something that, in this case, I was uncomfortable wearing full spandex in a gym like that, so I would wear shorts, right? And so if I am, if I just do that one thing, well, now I'm comfortable doing it. Okay, so find out what you don't like, and it could be, feelings that you have in your body, right? That feeling of nausea, that feeling of cramping, things like that. Drinking more water, having coconut water near your workout. Potassium is one of those things that helps your muscles relax, whereas calcium and troponin are basically what you use to bind your muscles. And so having your muscles, and that doesn't mean don't take calcium, you need it to survive, but or have things with calcium in it. But having enough potassium in your system, bananas or coconut or something like that, is going to help you to not have those cramps. Working out lighter, right? And building up to that point to where you get nauseous is something that's going to help you stay with it. Now, I had a client for about a year who his name was Robert, and he had motion sickness, extreme motion sickness. Like, if he moved his body too fast, he would get nauseous, and he was untrained, which is funny because he was a snowboarder too. But for the first, I think we trained for 2 months together, maybe 3, and he would always, like, he would throw up on every workout no matter how far I regressed it. And for whatever insane reason, he stuck with it with me. And I kept promising him, probably foolishly, that would go away. But it came true, right? We didn't get him to the weight loss goal that he had set. But his posture, he had this really bad programmer posture, and everybody thought that he had grown 6 inches when he went back for Thanksgiving or whatever, Christmas or whatever, to visit his family, and his posture was better, and it was just like, oh my God, you're so tall, because he was like 6'4", 6'6". When I met him, he was 6 foot or 5'10", about my height, and his posture was just completely improved. And so he looked less fat. By the way, this makes you look fat. But his posture had improved. He'd lost probably 12 to 20 pounds. So it wasn't like it was a good amount of weight, but it wasn't extreme. But the biggest thing that we had accomplished in that time, and it was about halfway through. So it was about a month and a half to 2 months in. He stopped getting nauseous in his workouts, and so I started progressing them. And then he kind of knew when he was going to start to get nauseous, and he started to understand those nausea triggers. So before he got to that stage, he would actually know, okay, now I need to pull back. And eventually he got to the point that we were doing some pretty high intensity workouts with him, and he wasn't getting nauseous at all. So whether or not that was like real motion sickness or it was just deconditioning or what, we were able to improve that over that period of time. And so that was a huge victory for me, and I think it was a very huge victory for him in his workout programming. So I went way off, but that was an obstacle, right? That was something that he didn't like with an exercise. That's something that made him uncomfortable, and we removed that barrier. So think about ways that you can remove that barrier. If it means going lighter, and it may not be the most effective exercise for you in the moment, if it gets you to the point where you don't experience that nausea anymore, you don't get winded anymore, that is a valid step to be taking in order to get you to the point where you can actually start doing the things that are really going to help you get to your goals. So you need to think about what are your obstacles and how are you going to eliminate those obstacles so that you can actually get to your goals. Now, maybe you've tried in the past and you failed, right? If you tried in the past and you failed, why did you fail? Okay, really, again, with every one of these questions, take your time to get that down, because that's going to help us to do things that are going to prevent us from failing this time. Okay, what habits might stand in your way, guys? Okay, I watch TV while eating. Okay, that could be a habit that stands out of your way. I drink every night. That's a habit that's going to stand in your way. One habit that I have is that because I associate wrestling a lot of times, especially in a jiu-jitsu setting where it's really, really, really challenging wrestling, that I do get nauseous almost every time without fail. I now have medications that will help me with that, but it doesn't help, and it doesn't get me to the point where that doesn't happen. It just gives me like an extra round that I can train before that happens. So that helps in a way. So I associate that, and that has become a habit where I just, when it comes time to roll, a lot of times I'm like, well, I don't want to do this, and I talk myself out of it. That's a bad habit that I am working on breaking. So, and I'm working on creating a plan for that. And one of those is that, getting the support from my husband to say, okay, I can't talk myself out of, one roll, right? And that's how it started. Was I was like, okay, I'm just going to do one roll tonight, okay? And for probably about 3 weeks to a month, I just did one roll. And then after that, and I was starting to feel, okay, I can do this, I started doing 2, and then 3, and then 4, and then about the time COVID happened, I was doing 5 or 6 a night. And that a lot of that nausea was coming from gastritis, but just like with Robert, it was something that started to go away the more I trained hard. So what nutritional habits might be standing in your way? That's a very important thing to identify and work with, right? And how can you address that? Again, go through the nutritional videos that I did and really take notes, really take your time to really understand what I'm saying. And I will be going through, and I will be doing another one on cooking here relatively soon. I'm going to have more privacy here to do that because my roommate's moving out. So I'm going to be doing that soon for you guys. That being said, the Shredded Chef is a good cookbook to go through, and you can just cook everything from there for a while, and that would help you with your nutritional habits. How might the Shredded Chef, look up that book, how might you talk yourself out of going into the workout? I just gave you my example, so write that down, take your time, think about it, and think about how you're going to mitigate that. So in the next part, what is motivating you to start now? Okay, and how are you going to maintain that motivation over time? What motivates you during your workout? And that's that. I already touched on a little bit in the in one of the previous videos or at the beginning of this one. But having a friend that you work out with, or multiple friends, so you make it a social thing, that could be something that's going to motivate you. You can the music that you really like, that can motivate you. You could be looking at fitness porn. That's a little bit of a sketchy one again, because if you're always looking at the unattainable, you're not going to be taking the steps that's actually going to help you to obtain that. So if you're looking at really hot shredded guys all the time and you're like, oh, I wish I was that person all the time, some people find that to be motivating. I think it's a trap. So be kind of mindful of that. Obligation, guys. This is a good one, guys. So for a long time doing jiu-jitsu, I treated it as a job. Okay, I had to show up on time. I had to be dressed and ready to go when class started, which usually meant that I was on the mats 20 minutes before class started, warming up and doing drills. And so I treated it like a job, and I invested in it like it was a job. So I obligated myself to do it. But working out with friends, guys, that's an obligation. You have made a commitment with those friends. You've made a commitment with a personal trainer. You've made a commitment with a group training program, and now you're obligated to go. You've promised your spouse or your boyfriend or whatever that you will go. That's an obligation. So you treat it like an obligation. You add competition to it, right? So placing bets, that's what Tyler and I used to do all the time, where we would say, okay, this is we're racing till one of us can bench this much or do this many push-ups or this many squats with this much weight, and so we were competing with each other to get better. Giving yourself new challenges, guys. If you're doing the same workouts all the time, you are going to lose your motivation. So one thing, like for grappling specifically, guys, so when you get on the mats and you train, and this is one of the most important things that I think even from the very beginning, especially if you're a new white belt and you feel like you don't remember a technique, your goal, or any techniques when you roll, remember 2, 3 techniques, something like that, and you say, okay, I'm going to get to this position. So there's technique 1. I'm going to transition from this position to this position where I can go for a submission. That's technique 2. My third thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go for 1 submission, and that's technique 3. And that's all you're trying to go for when you're rolling, is getting to that position, trying to get to the second position, so you have a position transition and then go for a submission, and that's all you're working on. So you're setting a goal for each individual roll that is objective and clear, and this is what I'm going to do. And so yeah, so what motivates you between it is that now we have this this challenge that we're introducing, right? It's a something that I'm going to do that may be challenging to me. So when I'm rolling, guys, I'm going to put myself in the bottom of side control. I'm going to let somebody put me there, and I'm going to challenge myself to escape from that position. Okay, that is a very good way of progressing your rolling, and I think it's probably one of the fastest ways that you're going to progress. So during the day before your class starts, you practice the 3 techniques with a friend that you intend on mastering and using in your roll, right? So you're cementing it into your brain, and then when you get into your roll, you're going to do them again, and the next day you're going to do the same thing over again, and you do that for a week, and now you've got this technique that you're always going to remember, and remember how to get there, and you're going to be much cleaner with that technique. So you're practicing it without resistance, and you're practicing it in a combat scenario. And you can do it like in the light roll, right? So that you can get there more easily and practice it with some resistance, and then you can do it in full out combat. Sometimes, guys, you actually get more by rolling light than if you do it otherwise. So, a fitness challenge would be something like, today I'm going to run further than I have before. I'm going to beat a goal. I'm going to make it around a track in a faster time than I have in the past. So things that challenge you, that push you forward. What might motivate you to come in when you're not in the mood? And one thing that Jeff Cavalier said that I like is that fitness or motivation doesn't happen at home, right? It doesn't happen like when you are watching porn on the internet, or you're watching a movie or whatever, and you're like, okay, I need to go to class, I need to go to the gym and get my workout in, it's about that time, but I'm not feeling motivated. Motivation doesn't happen there when you're sitting on the couch. Motivation happens when you walk through the door, okay? So really, and again, that's compartmentalization to an extent, guys, is that today my promise to myself is I'm going to walk through the door, okay? I'm going to check into my gym, I'm going to get on my bike, I'm going to get changed to go on my bike ride, and I'm going to get on my bike, I'm going to go to the pool, and I'm going to go to my wrestling school. And if you walk through the door, guys, and you are still just like, fuck it, I really don't want to be here, go home, okay? As long as that doesn't become a habit, right? But, you're getting into the space. You are basically, in a way, by going through all the steps, that ritual of going there, you are creating this inconvenience, guys, because when you get through that door, you're going to be like, well, for me, I have to drive 30-40 minutes to get to my jiu-jitsu school. So I drove 30 minutes to get here. I got my gi, I put it on. I've done all these things. Now my coach has seen that I'm here, and I'm really just not motivated to be here. A lot of times when you get there, you're just like, well, fuck it. I might as well do something. I'm here already. Why not? So don't make it about, I'm going to go do my workout. Make it about, well, I'm obligated right now to walk through the door. So when we're looking at what motivates you to come and get you in the mood when you're not in the mood, well, again, the same things that here is like friends, creating an obligation, you're involved in a competition or challenge. Maybe you need to call a friend, even if they're not going to the gym, and be like, hey, I'm not in the mood to go to the gym today. Why do you think I should go? Right? And have somebody else talk you into it. Or you could have like a notebook where you have answer to all these questions here that we've asked, and go to the ones that are about your fitness goals, what motivates you, that question about how are you going to feel in a year when you don't reach your goal, or how are you going to feel if you do, how's your life going to be different, going back to those questions and reading those answers, and maybe amending them, adding some more thoughts to them. Like looking at those past questions might be something that's going to make you go, oh, okay, yeah, I should go. But I will warn you about doing that a little bit, in that eventually we can tend to become numb to reviewing those questions too much. So start relying on other methods as well, so that you can meet those. But also, guys, when you are going back to those questions, and a lot of times when you read them and you're thinking about them, you can be adding to them things that have changed. So you're like, well, I've made it this far. So maybe that first goal that I set was too easy, right? It was too light, and I'm making this progress. So here's, because I think I'm going to reach that goal early. So maybe this is the new goal that I want to make, or maybe your priorities have changed. Maybe you've been rolling and you've started to find that you're having weakness in your shoulder. Well, I really don't want to have my shoulder damage or anything like that, so I'm going to start doing corrective exercises that's going to fix that. So you have other things that are going to help you hopefully work out when you're in the mood. What might motivate you to stick with it? As when we've kind of, that's redundant a little bit to us what we said, but friends, obligation challenge, group training, those types of things. Those are things that might motivate you to get there. So your plan. What are you going to accomplish first? Right? So that's what we talked about first, compartmentalization. Okay, what am I, my goal here is to do a year of a workout, and this is what my end goal is going to be. So what am I going to accomplish in this month? Okay, and that could be something simple, right? I'm going to have perfect squat form this month. My push-ups are going to be perfect. I'm going to learn how to deadlift properly, and so those are like things that are technical that set up the foundation for what you're going to do. So you're going to, okay, what's going to be my first goal, and when am I going to accomplish it by? Okay. Then what are you going to accomplish second? Okay. And then you just keep building that, okay? And by when? So you might set, okay, this is my goal for this month, this month, this month, this month. And doing a personal training consultation where you say, okay, this is what my level is at, and I just want to use this consultation time or this free session that has been offered or whatever, instead of like going out on the floor and trying to have you teach me exercises that you're not going to get me to master anyways. Why don't we say, okay, from I'm an absolute beginner, I don't know how to do things. What would be goals for me to set for each month for the next year? And they might be able to say, okay, they're not going to write you out a plan, hopefully, they're not going to write you out a program, but they're going to say, okay, well, this I think, in my experience, is going to be a realistic thing for the first month, second month, so on and so forth. So they can help you get that plan going, and then I would recommend getting 30 sessions so they can get you set up right in the first month. Well, that would be actually probably about 2 months if you have 30 sessions. So that's going to help you design a plan, not a program, but a plan that you of goals that you want to reach and when you should be reaching them by. And then what are you going to do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so on and so forth? What time of the day are you going to be doing that? Okay, so again, this goes back a little bit to treating your goals and your fitness or whatever you're trying to accomplish here as a job. Okay, so by saying, this is what I do on Monday, this is what I do on Tuesday. And by the way, if you're just starting out and you're in the first month, what I would recommend doing is saying, okay, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, those are my workout days. So I'm going to do, front chain or chest and shoulders Monday. I'm going to do back and core or something on Wednesday. And then I'm going to do legs on Friday. And maybe on Sunday I'm going to do some cardio. Okay, that's okay for a first month, right? And so this could be something that changes over time. And so by saying, okay, well maybe I'm gonna do Monday, I'm gonna do front chain, Wednesday I'm gonna do back chain, Friday's gonna be cardio, maybe Sunday's gonna be cardio. So you're spending less time in the lifting if that's not something you're motivated to do, and you're working on mastery, you're working towards a little goal there. And what's your end time? And then as you get more advanced and you're getting more, hopefully more into whatever you're doing, and you find out what actually works for you, then you can start doing it for more days at a time. But again, that's one of the things that happens a lot with New Year's resolution people, is that they're like, okay, I'm going to hit this hard and I'm going to be at the gym 7 days a week. It's not sustainable. Okay? So start with something that you can sustain. And once you get to the point where you're like, okay, I got this. Okay, I think I can add 1 day. 1 day. I'm going to add 1 day, and this is what my workout's going to be on that day. So instead of doing the front back split, now I'm going to do chest and shoulders, I'm going to do back and core, and then I'm going to do legs. Okay? Right? So you split up that lifting to 3 days instead of 2. And now you have a more focused workout, and hopefully by then your muscles are more developed so that you can actually focus on the same muscles for longer. That's what I have for you guys. And if this doesn't work for you guys, tell me why it doesn't work for you. Tell me what hangups you're still finding, and let's see if we can find a way to work through this. I do have a lot more experience, psychologically speaking, at this point than when I first designed these workshops. Actually, I think when I did these workshops, it was mostly before I went into psychological sessions and whatnot, so I didn't have a psychologist at the point in time. And so I do know a lot more now than I did then, so I can probably actually go through my notes as far as that goes and do a whole another video on motivation that's going to help you guys in sharing what I've learned into trying to get you guys to train a lot better and be more consistent. And guys, this everything I've done here, guys, I know I did it because this was all geared towards personal training and workouts and whatnot, and so I know that it feels okay like that was all workout focused. But on the flip side there, guys, this applies to anything within your life. So whether it's motivation, whether or not it's because you have a project that's due and you're trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to accomplish this and meet my deadline? All these things, guys, I think they're going to help you approach hopefully certain aspects of your life in a more mindful way and help you guys actually reach your goals. So I hope this was helpful. If it's not, let me know. And I hope that if you guys want to, and I think it's probably very productive, go to the Telegram group. We have 35 members in there now. Probably about, I want to say like 8 or 10 of them are really, really active right now. And start talking about this, guys. Use the Telegram group to chat about your goals, your obstacles, and whatnot. And let's see if we can, as a community, help each other reach those goals and actually get where we want to be with this. There is another conditioning camp that's starting July 1st. So it's the same one as what we already started in June 1st, but it's just starting in July. It's because a lot of people missed out on the first one. The conditions for the conditioning camps are that you fill out your PAR-Q. That is a legal requirement that I'm not allowed to let you participate if you haven't done that. The second part of it is that you need to check into your workouts. I've originally wanted you guys to do all 6 workouts that are provided, which, by the way, could be 3 days a week, right? You can do your cardios on the same days as your lifts if you wanted to shorten that up so it's less commitment. But your minimum, guys, is to do 2 lifts, 2 cardios in the beginning. And eventually it's actually going to get to the point where there are fewer workouts in a week when we get into I think September, October, because we're going to start blending our cardio with our strength training and start going into that more high intensity circuit training that's going to be with resistance. So that first couple months, we're working on slow reps because we want to develop that consistency and start developing that endurance so that when we get into that circuit training, we're going to be a lot stronger. So it's really important that you check into your workouts. At the bottom there is on each of the workouts that are posted, there's going to be basically, I'm setting them up as Facebook polls, and you just click on each workout whenever you do it, and that communicates to me and to the rest of the group that you've done your workouts. And that's going to make it so that, you know, if people are used to seeing your name there and it's not there, people are going to notice. I'm going to notice. I'm going to call you out on it, and that's going to help keep you accountable for it, right? So that's, you know, creating that friend network that we've talked about. That's creating that accountability, and also making it so that you treat it more like a job. And if you continue to do that, guys, eventually you are going to reach pretty much any goal that you want to reach. So that's there for you guys. It starts July 1st. It's open enrollment through the end of the second week of July, right? So it's actually going to be, July starts on Wednesday, so it's going to be the third Wednesday is going to be the cutoff where new people can no longer join that group. So you do want to start at the beginning, because again, you guys, it's going to help you cement every exercise I want you to be really, really solid in very early on, so that when we get into the higher intensity stuff, that is just second nature, and you don't have to think about it as much, and you just do it correctly from then on. So I know this was long, guys. Thank you for bearing with me, and I hope that this is helpful for you guys. Stay safe, and let me know if you have any thoughts or questions.